Part 12. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 111. Nan Yan looked at Li Shifen sitting on the ground and scolding her, and said coldly, "Shut your mouth." The cold and icy gaze, with a strong sense of oppression, made Li Shifen's dry howl stop abruptly. Then he looked around, and he was full of confidence again, and he scolded again. "You conscienceless dead girl, we have raised you for 16 years. This is how you treat me and your father. Even if it is a dog, it has a conscience. It knows to wag its tail at me and dare not show its teeth at me. You, an unfilial son, hit your father. Oh my God, this is unbearable. We just missed you and came to see you, but you actually hit someone. Aren't you afraid of being struck by lightning?" Nan Hongyang felt that his arms and legs were in unbearable pain, and he couldn't stand up. He could only sit on the ground and scold like Li Shifen. It was school time, and there were many students at the school gate. There were also many parents who came to pick up their children. The noise here soon attracted a crowd of onlookers. Among them, there were students from Class 4 of Senior 2, and parents who had seen Nan Yan in the office. Seeing this scene, the students from Class 4 wanted to help Nan Yan out. But before they could walk over, they were stopped by the parents around them. "Where are you going? Didn't I tell you to stay away from this girl? Don't be unhappy with her in the future, don't fight with her, you see she dares to beat her own adoptive parents, what else is she afraid to do? Don't have contact with her again, understand?" The parents of Class 4 of Senior 2 were all sternly admonishing their children. Their children were not allowed to be involved with Nan Yan again. Last time, all the boys in a class were beaten down by her. Such a violent and unruly bad girl is from two different worlds with their children, and they must not let her lead them astray. The students of Class 4 of Senior 2, who were stopped, seemed to think that this was Nan Yan's family affair, and they should not interfere, and they all calmed down. Those who were watching and didn't know the truth pointed at Nan Yan, and without exception, they were blaming her. Nan Yan's breath was getting colder and colder. Just when she wanted to make a move to make the two people shut up, a figure came to her side. The tall figure took her into his arms and covered her ears with both hands. "Yan Yan, don't listen." Nan Yan's face was pressed against his chest by his actions, as if she was hiding in his arms. The cool cedar fragrance on his body enveloped her. It isolated the sounds and sights that annoyed her. She wanted to break free from his arms, but the man's arms were like steel and refused to let her break free. Finally, she had no choice but to give up struggling and wait for him to let go. Qin Lu noticed that she had settled down, and his cold and gloomy eyes fell on the two people who were howling and peeking at them. "Wu Yu, please get in the car. They should be thankful that this is a public place." He can still suppress the anger in his heart for the time being. "Yes, master." Wu Yu had been terrified for a long time. The master's aura just now was too terrifying. He was a little afraid that the master would not care and attack these two people. Luckily, fortunately, Wu Yu also suppressed his temper and squatted in front of Nan Hongyang and Li Shifen. "You two, please follow me. Our master Qin will take care of this matter." Nan Hongyang and Li Shifen looked at him with some uneasiness. Although they were country people, they could also see that the identities of these two people were not ordinary. Especially the man holding Nan Yan, his aura was stronger than the big stars seen on TV. And, he was very rich. The biological daughter told them that Nan Yan, the dead girl, hooked up with a rich man, and it seemed that it was him. Since he said he would take care of it, would he give them a lot of money on behalf of Nan Yan? Nan Hongyang and Li Shifen looked at each other and saw the same idea in each other's eyes. At that moment, the two did not resist. Li Shifen helped Nan Hongyang stand up and helped him follow Wu Yu. Seeing the car that they couldn't recognize the license plate, they could feel that it was very valuable, so they carefully got in through Wu Yu's open door. Qin Lu waited for Wu Yu to take the people away, and his intimidating eyes swept over the people present. Those who were still chattering were touched by his intimidating eyes and subconsciously shut their mouths. He couldn't help but guess his identity in his heart. He didn't let go of Nan Yan until there were no more unbearable sounds around. "Brother, why did you get off?" Nan Yan's mood had recovered and she asked calmly. Yesterday he was annoyed by someone chatting him up, so she told him not to get off the car when he came to pick her up. "I didn't plan to get off." Qin Lu wrapped her slightly cold little hand with his big hand. "I saw them wanting to bully you in the car, and I was afraid you would be bullied." "No one can bully me." Nan Yan lowered her eyes and looked at the hands of the two people, her voice a little low. "I don't care about other people's opinions. They can't hurt her. To her, they are just a group of ants that she can crush with a flick of her finger." And she was not afraid of rumors, and did not care about other people's eyes. Qin Lu's eyes flashed with a dark color. "Let my brother solve this matter?" Nan Yan heard this and became a little curious. "How does my brother want to solve it?" She also has a way to solve it herself. And more than one. But Qin Lu said he would solve it, and this proposal surprised her. He was such a proud and noble man, would he intervene in such a matter for her? "You will be satisfied." Qin Lu did not answer directly, but raised his hand to rub her head, then took her hand and went back to the car. Hashtag. After they left, the shocked people breathed a sigh of relief and hurriedly asked each other if anyone knew Qin Lu's identity. Nan Hongyang and Li Shifen, who were taken to the car, could not dream that what was waiting for them was not the money they dreamed of. Nan Yan and Qin Lu took another car directly. Qin Lu sent Nan Yan back to Jingtai Garden Community. The car stopped, he glanced sideways, and asked in a calm voice, "Little friend, what do you want to eat tonight? I will take you to eat when I come back." Nan Yan answered irrelevantly, "I want to meet them both." They, of course, refers to the original owner's adoptive parents. "Yan Yan, there is nothing to see." Qin Lu did not want Nan Yan to meet them. Afraid that she would recall the hurt she had suffered in the past by meeting them. "We still have to meet, and some things need to be resolved. If meeting them will make you unhappy, then don't go. Tell me what you want to do, and I will help you do it." "Brother, I want to go in person." Nan Yan's insistence made Qin Lu compromise helplessly. "Okay. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss." Author, Junanan. Chapter 112. Nan Hongyang and Li Shifen were taken to a room at the Landis Hotel. The two people who came from the countryside had never seen such a luxurious room before, and their eyes were full of greed. "It seems that the gentleman really cares about that dead girl Nan Yan. Perhaps they don't need their biological daughter to give them money. As long as they make good use of Nan Yan, they can also own such a large and luxurious house in a big city." As for Nan Honjiang's arm dislocated by Nan Yan, because the thoughts in his mind made him excited, he temporarily suppressed the pain in his body. The two people walked around inside, and after the novelty passed, Nan Hongyang couldn't help but ask Wu Yu impatiently, "When will your master come? Didn't he say he would solve this matter for us?" Wu Yu said with a fake smile, "Don't worry, Master Qin will be here soon." He had never seen it, and he was anxious to be dealt with. When the young master came, he was waiting to see their miserable appearance of regret. It must be said that these two people are also very courageous. They dared to bully Miss Nan in front of Master Qin. He had never seen their young master treat anyone as much as he treated Miss Nan. Even his brothers and sisters at home were not treated this way. Not to mention that these were Miss Nan's adoptive parents, he would not let go of his biological parents easily. Not to mention that Miss Nan's adoptive parents were not good people. They favored boys over girls and exploited Miss Nan like a slave. No, no. Wu Yu felt that if he continued to think about it, he would not be able to control himself and beat them up. It's better to calm down and wait for the young master to come. Wu Yu sat on the sofa with an expressionless face, looking like he didn't want to pay attention to them. People like Nan Hongyang were bullies who only bullied the weak and feared the strong. Knowing that Wu Yu was not easy to mess with, he didn't dare to mess with him, so he had to wait patiently. Hashtag. The closed door was opened from the outside. Qin Lu and Nan Yan came in from outside. When Nan Hongyang saw them, he immediately wanted to ask for an explanation. As a result, because of being too excited, he pulled his dislocated arm and screamed ouch, ouch. Li Shifen quickly supported Nan Hongyang and said loudly with bluffing, Nan Yan, look at how badly you hurt your father. If you hit your adoptive father like this, we will sue you and you will go to jail. Want to sue me? Okay, Nan Yan raised her eyebrows slightly, very indifferent, go ahead and sue. She took a few steps and walked in front of the two of them. Slender figure, straight back, that extremely beautiful face, at this time covered with a witch's sneer, since you know that it is illegal for me to hit him, then all these years, you have abused me, which is also illegal, why don't we see who will be punished? After all, I have connections here, and you two are just farmers from the countryside, powerless, and you still want to fight with my brother. Do you know my brother's identity? It doesn't matter, I'm kind to tell you, he is the heir of the top family in China. A big boss who can shake the whole of China with a stomp of his feet. Dealing with you two is as easy as crushing two ants. Nan Yan was very malicious and deliberately used Qin Lu's identity and status to suppress these two rogues. When the original owner was with them, they beat and scolded her. Even though the original owner was so tired that she fainted, they still scolded her for being lazy and not working on purpose. Just because the original owner was a girl, she didn't deserve love, was treated as a money loser, enslaved her, and almost squeezed out all her value. Such adoptive parents are simply asking for abuse. Qin Tulman LV. This little girl is quite interesting when she bullies others by taking advantage of her power. And the way she relies on him makes him feel happy for some reason. Wu Yu couldn't help but give Nan Yan a thumbs up. Only Miss Nan dares to use Mr. Qin's reputation to scare people like this. Of course, it's not just a scare. If Miss Nan is willing, Mr. Qin will be happy to send these two bad adoptive parents to jail. Nan Hongyang and Li Shifen, who thought they would get a lot of compensation, were immediately scared silly. How is this completely different from what they thought? Shouldn't they use money to buy them to shut up in order to preserve Nan Yan's reputation? But why is it a threat now? No. No, Nan Hongyang quickly defended, we just missed Yanyan too much, so we came to see her. Yanyan, you haven't been home for 2 years, don't you miss us, don't you miss Hajia? Li Shifen also quickly followed up and said, yes, we just miss you too much, you have been with us for 16 years, we raised you with our own hands, even if you don't have any merit, you have suffered. How can you be so cruel and put us in jail? Nan Yan looked indifferent, that's true. Even if you treat me badly, you raised me and didn't let me starve to death. Yes, yes, Nan Hongyang thought Nan Yan still remembered the old feelings, and nodded quickly, if it weren't for us, you would have starved to death long ago, how could you have the chance to be taken back to the Yan family and become the second lady of the Yan family? Qin Lu glanced at Nan Yan calmly, without saying a word. Originally, he planned to deal with it himself. As a result, the little thing came over and took action directly, clearly wanting to solve it himself and didn't want him to intervene. Yanyan, it was our fault in the past, but now we know we were wrong, and we will treat you like our own daughter in the future. We have lived together for 16 years, and you have to take care of the nurturing grace we gave you for 16 years. Qin Lu brought too much oppression to them. Especially Nan Yan's words. They are scoundrels and shrews in the market, but no matter how shameless they are, they still know that some people cannot be offended. They were really scared. If Qin Lu really attacked them, they would only be stepped on and had no ability to resist. The more backward a place is, the more obvious it is that powerful people are not afraid of murder and arson, while ordinary people can go to jail for stealing a watermelon. This is the truth. Therefore, when Nan Hongyang and Li Shifen heard about Qin Lu's identity, they did not even dare to resist, and they could only beg for mercy. Nan Yan looked at their ugly appearance, and the disgust in his eyes became even worse. When she heard that they had the nerve to mention that they had raised the original owner for 16 years, she suppressed her temper and did not try to shut them up. Since you mentioned the nurturing grace of these 16 years, that's just right. Let's settle the matter. Nan Yan pinched her eyebrows and suppressed the anger in her heart, but the aura on her body was a bit colder. What? No. I don't agree. Yan, you will always be our daughter. They don't want to settle with Nanyan. They were her adoptive parents, even though they were not her biological parents, they still raised her for 16 years. What she owed them could never be repaid. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 113. You want my daughter now, Nan Yan sneered. Unfortunately, you don't deserve it. In the past 16 years, except for the beginning when I was still young, I couldn't do anything. I ate and drank your food. Later, when I was 6 years old, I had to work every day to get 3 meals a day. A 6-year-old child, washing dishes, fetching water, sweeping the floor, cooking, if you don't do any of them well, you will be beaten. I also have to take care of my younger brother who is only 1.5 years younger than me, carrying him on my back and holding him every day. If he cries, I will still be beaten. This kind of life has become worse as I grow older. Even though I went to school later, I got up early in the morning to make breakfast, came back in the evening to make dinner, and had to wash clothes and work after dinner. I was busy until midnight before I could go to bed. Nan Yan reminded them expressionlessly that what they did to the original owner made them clearly realize how unbearable they, as parents, were. The original owner was lucky to be able to live to be found by the Yin family. Qin Lu had learned about Nan Yan's past from the information Wu Yu gave him. But those pasts were just summarized as the word abuse. Now, hearing her tell those dark pasts in person, a sense of hostility came out uncontrollably. A strong breath of destruction poured over Nan Hongyang and Li Shifen. Two ordinary people who grew up in the mud, how could they bear such oppression? Their legs softened and they collapsed directly on the ground, trembling all over. Nan Yan recounted the evil deeds of the adoptive parents slowly, ignoring their emotions that had been suppressed to the point of collapse by Qin De Lao, and said lightly, even if you treat me like this, I will not be heartless. Starting from the year of birth, 10,000 a year is enough to pay for your upbringing expenses, 160,000, buy out all the upbringing grace in the past, how about it? Qin Lu suppressed his temper, pursed his thin lips and looked at Nan Yan in confusion. With his temper, after hearing that, not killing the adoptive parents was a leniency. She had endured so much, and she even had to give them money. 160,000 yuan is just a meal for him. But for rural people, it is probably a huge sum of money that they can't earn in several years. But the little girl is not such a kind person. The words she said when she came don't seem to let them go easily. He just wants to see what she wants to do. Yan. Nan Hongyang swallowed his saliva. 160,000 yuan is indeed a huge sum of money for him. But he wants more than just this. He wants to get more money from her, treat her as a money bag, and come to her for money when he is short of money. I don't want it. You are my daughter. Your mother and I treated you badly in the past and did a lot of wrong things. In the future, we will definitely compensate you well. Yan Yan, give us another chance. How could Nan Yan not see the greed hidden in his eyes? She half knelt in front of him leisurely, pinching his dislocated arm, and said coldly and dangerously in his distorted expression of pain. Nan Hongyang, I have an opportunity in front of you. Do you want 160,000 yuan and honestly draw a line with me, or do you not get a penny and accept my revenge? Ah! As Nan Yan increased the force on his arm, Nan Hongyang screamed in pain. He didn't care about greed at the moment and screamed, I want 160,000 yuan. 160,000 yuan. Crack. Nan Yan's hand exerted force and helped Nan Hongyang connect his arm in a very painful way. Nan Hongyang's eyes rolled up and he fainted because of the pain. He fainted, and Li Shifen's face turned pale with fear. Looking at Nan Yan with eyes full of fear, she was not only trembling, but also her teeth were constantly fighting up and down, making a da-da-da sound. Nan Yan was too lazy to pay attention to her. After standing up, she turned her head and said, Wu Yu, please help me. Wu Yu, who had been acting as a background board, was called and hurried over. Miss Nan, you say. Please transfer 160,000 yuan from this card to an empty card. Nan Yan casually handed her deposit card to Wu Yu. Wu Yu glanced at Mr. Qin and took it with both hands. Okay, Miss Nan. Holding the card, Wu Yu went to do the work quickly. It would take some time to transfer the money. Qin Lu saw that Nan Yan was obviously unhappy, took her hand and took her to another room. Nan Yan did not resist and let him take her here. Thinking that he was going to say something, she just raised her head, and suddenly, a hug with the cold fragrance of cedar hugged her. Nan Yan? Yan Yan, don't be sad. Those are all in the past. Qin Lu's voice was very low. Low and pleasant, with a soothing meaning. The big hand was still patting her back. Is he treating her like a child? Nan Yan thought so, and simply closed her eyes, letting him hold her. In fact, her emotions were indeed a little unstable. She could feel it herself. She was not someone who got angry easily, nor would she be easily affected by her emotions. It was the original owner's consciousness that affected her invisibly. It was the hatred and unwillingness in the original owner's heart that provoked the dark side of her heart. Qin Lu felt that the little guy was really sad. Just as he was about to comfort her again, Nan Yan suddenly hugged his waist. Two soft arms, without too much strength, were placed on his waist like that. It was obviously a very common action, just like a child relying on his big brother, but Qin Lu's body froze instantly. Some uncontrollable thoughts, whistling, rushed out of the cage, causing his mentality to change uncontrollably. Yan Yan. Qin Lu breathed slowly, trying to calm down his restlessness. His usually cold and indifferent eyes were now as rich as ink. There's nothing to be sad about. In the future, brother will spoil you, and grandma will spoil you too. It's better not to have that kind of family. His voice was low and gentle, patiently coaxing the sad child. Brother, thank you. Nan Yan's muffled voice came from his arms. The airflow from her words blew on his chest. It was obviously just a slightly hot breath, but he felt like lava, making his skin burn. Qin Lu pushed the girl away in a somewhat embarrassed manner. I'll go get you a glass of water. If he hugged her again, he was afraid that he would turn into a demon. Nan Yan looked at his fleeing back, and a question slowly came to her mind. What happened? He was the one who wanted to hug her and comfort her, so why did he push her away so coldly? Nan Yan didn't understand, so she didn't think about it for the time being. It was just a glass of water, and Qin De Lao was gone for several minutes. When he came back, she was already sitting on the sofa, playing with her mobile phone. Little friend, drink some water. Brother, are you hot? How come you unbuttoned your collar after going out? Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 114. Qin Lu replied calmly, "Well, it's a bit hot." Nan Yan glanced at him and felt that this was not the case. But seeing that he seemed to be in a bad mood, she didn't ask anything. After taking the water glass, she took a few sips slowly. Wu Yu was very fast and ran back in 10 minutes. Ms. Nan, this is the card that has been transferred to 160,000 yuan. The password is 123,456. This is your original card. Wu Yu handed over the two cards with respectful hands. Looking at Nan Yan's expression, she was still a little curious. On that card, when he was transferring money, he checked the balance. However, the results displayed to him were actually unable to be queried. How high level of permission is this? His young master has a super black card. The amount is hidden because there is too much money in it. Other cards can be directly queried. But Miss Nan's card looks ordinary, but it actually has this function. What's more important is that Miss Nan didn't even set a password and gave it to him so easily. How much you trust him? Wu Yu was moved to tears. He swore on the spot that he would definitely protect Miss Nan's identity as the young lady and look after the young master for her. No little goblin can get close to the young master. Certainly. Wu Yu knew very clearly that except for the little goblin in front of him, there had not been another one who could get close to Master Qin in so many years. Thanks. Nan Yan took the two cards and went outside. Qin Lu raised his slender fingers, pinched his brows, and followed out with his long legs. Hashtag. Outside, Nan Hongyang had woken up. He and Li Shifen were frightened and didn't know what to do. Nan Yan walked up to them and threw the bank card containing 160,000 funds on the ground. Take these 160,000, and we will be clean between you and I from now on. Nan Yan's tone was cold and without any warmth, and the cold voice carried a threat that people could not ignore. You'd better think about it carefully before coming back again in the future. Come to me, I won't show mercy to you. Once the kindness of upbringing was repaid, she would no longer have any scruples when it came to taking action. Nan Hongyang quickly picked up the card from the ground. The password was written on the back. He took a look at it and quickly put it away. We will never come to you again. Now, can we go? Okay, Nan Yan responded calmly. Nan Hongyang and Li Shifen took the money, ran as fast as they could, and quickly left the room. After the two of them left, Qin Lu walked to her side. Yan Yan, didn't you say you wanted to deal with them? Don't worry, these two will deal with it sooner or later. Nan Yan's tone was very calm, and the coldness in his eyes never melted away. The two of them will not come to me for no reason, someone is giving them advice behind their back. Now that these two people have received a sum of money, maybe because of you, brother, they will stop trying to trouble me. But the people behind them will never give up. She knew very well who this person was. She raised the corners of her lips with a cold expression. If you don't make good use of the opportunity that comes to you, it will be in vain. What do you need brother to help you with? He's just a clown, not worthy of my brother's intervention. My brother can just watch quietly. How can we deal with an Wayao by borrowing others' hands? She wants to come in person. Hashtag. Nan Hongyang and Li Shifen ran out of the hotel, looked at the bank cards in their hands, and went to the bank first to check the money inside. After finding out that there was indeed 160,000 in it, the two of them were a little confused. Otherwise, let's go back. That Mr. Qin is very difficult to offend at first glance, so we'd better not offend him. Li Shifen is timid, and she is content. A loser, exchanged for 160,000 yuan, they can save a few years and marry Haoming. Pretty good. Yes, although Nan Hongyang was unwilling, he was afraid of Nan Yan and even more afraid of Qin Lu standing behind her. Let's call Yao Yao and tell her, and then go home. Nan Hongyang found a quiet place, took out his mobile phone, and dialed N Weio's number. Yao Yao, I'm Dad. After answering the call, Nan Hongyang said to the phone with a flattering look on his face. When N Weio heard his voice, she almost felt sick and vomited. She suppressed her physical discomfort and asked directly, how did things go? Nan Hongyang's tone was cautious. Yao Yao, this thing can't be done. There is a powerful man beside that little bitch. We can't fight him at all. That man. N Weio thought of Qin Lu, whom she had met several times, with jealousy and hatred in her eyes. That man just treated Nan Yan as a plaything. How could such a superior being like him have real feelings for Nan Yan? He just likes her face and plays with her. That must be it. N Weio has been in a wealthy family for so many years and has seen many dirty things like this. It is common for successful men to keep several beautiful female students as mistresses. This is not a secret. But these women who are kept and raised will never be able to make it to the stage, and they may be abandoned at any time. She was just waiting for the day when Nan Yan was abandoned by that gentleman. Didn't Nan Yan think that if she hugged her thigh, he could ride on her head? Dream. She will always be a bitch. After listening to N Weio's words, Nan Hongyang's fear of Nan Yan suddenly eased a lot. What should we do? Even if Nan Yan was kept and raised by him, he should be interested in her now and will definitely solve the problem for her. Nan Hongyang is more selfish and cautious. N Weio flinched when she heard his words, and the disgust in her eyes became more obvious. If he hadn't been needed, she would have called him trash right now. I heard that Nan Yan attacked you at the school gate today. That's right, Nan Hongyang can still feel the pain in his arm. She dislocated my arm and kicked me. I raised this beast for 16 years in vain. He was quite unhappy to be beaten by his adopted daughter, whom he had always looked down upon. N Weio held onto the glass window with malice in her eyes. She looked at her shadow printed on the window and whispered. Someone took a video of the scene at the school gate. I will find someone to break the news and make this matter bigger. Nanyan took it upon herself to raise her parents. If it was fermented well, it would attract the attention of society. When the time comes for the two of you to be miserable in front of the media, public opinion will lean towards you. When the time comes, Nan Yan will become a rat crossing the street, his reputation will be ruined and he will be looked down upon by others. How could such a noble man have his reputation damaged because of a woman like Nan Yan? She wants Nan Yan to become an outcast. Okay. Yao Yao, your mother and I won't leave yet. We will do as you say. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 115. That night, the video of Nan Yan beating her adoptive parents at the gate of Zhide High School was uploaded to the internet. The video was captured when Nan Yan directly hit Nan Hongyang, without the previous scenes. Under N Weio's secret manipulation, the post that originally did not have much popularity was pushed to the top of the hot search. However, because Nan Yan was not well known, no one knew who she was. But soon, a group of popular science geeks came under the video and dug out Nan Yan's identity clearly. In addition, there were water troops who went to stir up the topic, and soon there were a series of comments accusing Nan Yan under the video. I'm really sick of it. Did she dislike her adoptive parents after returning to the rich family? She even beat her adoptive father. She's so inhuman. I have to say that people who grew up in the countryside and returned to the rich family are really bad. I'm afraid she hates the adoptive parents who raised her. Don't say it, this is the first time I've seen such an arrogant and shameless rich daughter. I'm sick of it. This kind of person is not worthy of marrying into a wealthy family. Let her live in the countryside forever. Haha, I just heard from a friend in the circle that the real daughter brought back from the countryside by the N family is a waste. She can do nothing except causing trouble and making a fool of herself. She is a real daughter, so what, compared with Miss N who grew up in the N family, the gap is not a little bit, she is not even worthy of carrying her shoes. Because someone fanned the flames, the matter on the internet was fermented more and more seriously. Late at night, Shen Junqing hurried to find Nan Yan. Third brother, Nan Yan opened the door and was a little surprised that Shen Junqing would suddenly come to her. Shen Junqing followed her into the house, frowning slightly, his charming peach blossom eyes full of solemnity and concern. Sister Yan Yan, have you seen what happened online? I have. So it was because of what happened online. Nan Yan asked him to sit wherever he wanted, and she went to the kitchen to get some water. Third brother, what do you want to drink? Water, black tea, green tea, Sprite, Coke, or energy drink? Mineral water, please. Nan Yan brought 2 bottles of mineral water over, handed him one, and then sat opposite him. Yan Yan, don't worry about what happened online, I will find someone to help you suppress it. No need to suppress it. Nan Yan unscrewed the water and took a sip. If I wanted to suppress it, I would have done it myself a long time ago. Then, why don't you care? Shen Junqing was a little confused. You are scolded so badly on the internet, don't you care? Nan Yan lowered her eyes slightly, and said leisurely, if the matter is not made big, how can I make those who calculated me pay a big enough price? But now you are scolded, and public opinion is very unfavorable to you. Shen Junqing was rarely serious, not as careless as before. He really treats Nan Yan as his sister and doesn't want to see her get hurt. It doesn't matter. They can scold me if they want. Scolding me won't make me lose half a pound of meat. No matter how harshly they scold me now, they will scold her even harsher when the truth comes out. This she, of course, refers to Nweo. Seeing that she keeps trying to commit suicide, she will give her a gift that she will never forget. Shen Junqing tried to see from Nan Yan's face that she was pretending to be strong. As a result, he didn't see it at all. Thinking of her methods and cruelty, Shen Junqing's worried heart finally calmed down. If you can't solve it, ask the third brother for help. Don't be polite to me, understand? Nan Yan looked at him and felt his sincerity. After a while, she nodded, okay. Hashtag. After sending Shen Junqing away, Nan Yan came back and found that there were several unread messages on his phone. Enziran saw the hot search and came to ask him about the situation. Nan Yan clicked on the screen and sent a message, it's okay. As soon as the message was sent, Enziran called. Yan Yan, what's going on? Why did they come to you? Will you really fight with them? Enziran's tone was very anxious. Ever since he saw the hot search, he was anxious, fearing that Nan Yan would be bullied. Nan Yan did not answer him, but asked leisurely, fourth brother, do you believe in Nweo or me? Enziran did not think about it and replied directly, of course it's you. Nan Yan's eyebrows were a little gentle, that's enough. Fourth brother, it won't take too long. This matter will be resolved in 3 days at most. Don't let it affect your mood and train well. Really okay? Well, it won't be me who has problems. Enziran was silent for a moment, and said seriously, Yan Yan, fourth brother hopes you remember that you are not alone. Even if your parents don't want you, fourth brother still wants you. Fourth brother will always stand by you. His words, like a warm current, flowed into Nan Yan's heart. She bit her lips and smiled, I know, fourth brother. Since you said you can solve it yourself, fourth brother will not care about it for now. If you can't solve it after 3 days, fourth brother will help. Yan Yan, don't refuse. Okay. It's getting late, go to bed early. Well. Hashtag. The next day, Qin Lu sent Nan Yan to school again. Wu Yu was driving in front, looking through the rearview mirror from time to time at the 2 people sitting in the back. Qin Lu was not an internet user, so until now, he had no idea how much the rumors about Nan Yan were exaggerated on the internet. Wu Yu saw it, but before he could tell him, Nan Yan reminded him first and told him not to say it. As a little follower who had just vowed in his heart to treat Nan Yan as a young lady, Wu Yu was very entangled. However, seeing Nan Yan's calm appearance, he vaguely guessed that Nan Yan had a solution. So, he decided not to say it for the time being. When he couldn't hide it anymore, he would tell her. The car stopped at the school gate. When Nan Yan was about to open the door and get out of the car, Qin Lu called her. Yan Yan. Nan Yan looked at him in confusion. Qin Lu stretched out his hand and gently rubbed her head. His deep eyes concealed the deepest emotions, and he said in a gentle voice, "Don't be afraid, no matter what happens, your brother can handle it for you." "Oh." Nan Yan responded obediently. Qin Lu slightly curved his lips, drawing a light arc. "Go ahead, remember to call me if you have anything." Nan Yan was sniped by the beauty, and was almost stunned by his smile. It took a second for her to come back to her senses. Her throat was a little itchy, and she coughed lightly and nodded, "Yeah." After getting off the car, Nan Yan slowly exhaled, pressed her heart lightly, and calmed down her restless heartbeat. It's not okay to be attracted to the big guy. She doesn't have the courage yet. After taking a deep breath, she put down her hand, turned around and waved to Qin Lu, and then entered the school gate. Hashtag. Nan Yan had no expression on her face, and let the students point and talk, as if she didn't hear it, and walked past them calmly. As soon as she arrived in the classroom, someone came to call her. "Nan Yan, the head teacher and the dean of teaching asked you to go to the office. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 116. Nan Yan put down her school bag and went to the office. In the office, the dean and head teacher Yu were sitting in front of the computer with serious expressions. "Dean, head teacher." After Nan Yan came in, he said hello to them. When the dean saw her coming in, he looked away from the comment section and looked at her. "Classmate Nan Yan, are the things exposed on the internet true?" Nan Yan stood in front of him, her tone was very calm. "The video is very clear. It is a fact that she did something to Nan Hongyang, and there is no need to wash it off. If she hadn't thought that he had raised the original owner for 16 years, she wouldn't have taken it so lightly." The dean sighed, "You are so impulsive." He has always been partial to Nan Yan, but this time, Nan Yan really went too far. There are already many people on the internet attacking her, and some people even came to the school's official blog to petition for Nan Yan to drop out of school. If this matter is not properly resolved, Nan Yan's reputation will be greatly affected. Class teacher Yu was also puzzled. "Classmate Nan Yan, that was outside the school, in front of so many people, why can't you bear it for a while?" "I can't bear it." Nan Yan didn't want to cause trouble for the school. "I will solve this matter myself. The head teacher and the dean of students will give the school a satisfactory answer and it will not affect the school's reputation." Can it really be solved? This matter can be big or small. If you can't solve it, I will ask the school to find a way to help you solve it. The dean still believed in Nan Yan and believed that she had a reason for everything. Ever since they came into contact, he asked himself that he would not be wrong. Nan Yan was definitely not a bad boy. Besides, as a doctor, she must be very kind. No need, within 3 days at most, public opinion will shift to others. Nan Yan's indifferent voice was a little more harsh. When the dean saw what she said, he vaguely guessed that there might be something going on. "Okay, then you deal with it yourself first. If you can't solve it, let the school find a solution. After all, Nan Yan now is the student they want to cultivate. If it were her before, the school wouldn't care about this at all." Nanyan politely said thank you and went back to class. Hashtag. The majority of netizens have been waiting for Nanyan to come out and express her position. As a result, from yesterday until noon today, she had no attitude at all. Not only did she not express anything, Zhide High School also remained silent on this matter. This angered those netizens, and even passers-by were incited to come in and go to the school's official blog to attack Nanyan. At noon, while everyone was having lunch, another video hit the hot search list. This time it's an interview with the title, #Adoptive parents who were abused by their adopted daughters speak out. Hashtag. Nowadays, Nanyan's case of abusing his adoptive parents is very popular, and countless people have clicked on this video. In the video are Nan Hongyang and Li Shifen. The two of them were dressed shabbily and looked very haggard, especially Nan Hongyang, whose arms were hung up, looking miserable. Nanyan is our adopted daughter. We only found out about this 2 years ago. Before that, we had always treated her as our biological daughter. Later, people from the Yan family came and said that they had reported the wrong child. Nanyan was originally the biological daughter of the Yan family and wanted to take her away. We are definitely reluctant to let go, but in order to give her a better education and life, we can only bear to let her go back to her home. In the past 2 years, she has not visited us once, and has not even made a phone call. We also missed her so much that we had no choice but to come to Jinjinj to find her, but Nan Hongyang and Li Shifen cried in front of the camera, and kept saying that they did not blame Nanyan, and asked netizens not to expose her online anymore. As soon as this video was posted, netizens all over the internet were even more excited. They all wanted to scold Nanyan. More and more people are putting pressure on Zhide High School to expel Nanyan. Even the Yan family was affected and was attacked by many netizens, saying that the Yan family was blind and brought back a harmful spirit. Settle down. Lulahua was losing his temper. I said at the beginning not to take her back. It's enough that we have a daughter like Yao Yao. Dad must take her back. Look at all the good things she has done. Lulahua is a face-saving person, and now the news about Nanyan is on the hot search list. Looking at those sharp words, all her blood rushes to her head. Not only was she disrespectful to me, she even killed her adoptive parents who had raised her for 16 years. She is just a beast. As long as Lulahua thinks of the scene of Nanyan beating Nweo, his temples will jump. Such a wild bad boy really pissed her off, and she might kill someone with a knife. Mom, calm down, there may be something hidden in this matter. And Mulan really didn't like Nanyan, but he didn't think she would hit people for no reason. The few times he saw her take action, he always retaliated passively and never took the initiative. What's the secret? Did someone force her to hit someone? Lulahua was not angry at all. He took out his cell phone and called An Yeoking directly. Husband, how do you plan to resolve Nanyan's matter? Now that she has smeared An's reputation, I think it would be better to make a statement and draw a clear line with him. An Yeoking frowned. He had been worried about this matter a lot today, and he didn't know if it had something to do with it. An's stock had some fluctuations. At present, the fluctuation is not big, but it has indeed dropped a little. Nanyan is still useful, and the old man will not agree. He has not given up that idea. Lulahua was angry. Wake up, Nanyan's reputation is completely bad now, who will let such a woman enter the house? Do you still expect her to marry a famous family? And Yeoking felt that this was also true. But the relationship cannot be dissolved so casually. Wait a minute, talk to the old man about this and see his attitude. We two can't make the decision on this matter. Okay, then I'll go to my father now. Lulahua hung up the phone, called in Mulan, and went out with his handbag. After eavesdropping, Nweo returned to her room. Standing at the window, watching An Mulan drive Lulahua to the old house, a smug smile appeared in her eyes. As long as Grandpa gives up Nan Yan, she must leave the Yin family. After being expelled from the Yin family, Nan Yan will no longer be a threat to her. She is asking for death. Otherwise, if she stayed in the Yin family and was at her mercy, she would at least be the second daughter of the Yin family. Now, she wants to make Nan Yan unable to stay in Jinqing. Hashtag. The old house of the Yin family. Old Master N just woke up from his nap and was drinking tea comfortably under the sycamore tree in the yard. Lulahua and Mulin came. Old Master N took a sip of tea slowly and asked, Lahua, Xylan, how come you have time to come? Dad, I have something to tell you. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 117. After Lulahua told Grandpa N about the good things Nan Yan had done during this period, she said with disgust, Dad, Nan Yan really refuses to change, she is wild and unruly, and is not suitable to stay in the Yin family at all. Because of her, the Yin family has become a laughing stock now. If we continue to keep her, I'm afraid she will cause more and more trouble. Grandpa N's face was no longer smiling, his eyes were serious, and his voice was cold. Yes, Yan Yan should not continue to stay in the Yin family. Anyway, you have Yao Yao, your only daughter, so let Yan Yan stay with us in the future. Since you don't want to manage, I, the old man, will manage it myself. Grandpa N didn't believe that Nan Yan could do these things. His poor granddaughter was obviously wronged. In the eyes of this biased pair of parents, they probably only saw Nweo and didn't see her at all. However, they didn't think about it. Everything that Nweo enjoyed originally belonged to Yan Yan. It was Nweo who took everything that originally belonged to her, and also took away the love of her father and mother. She tried to integrate into the Yin family cautiously, but was not taken seriously by anyone. Although Mr. N rarely went to the Yin family, he also had a way to know what was going on there. He just felt that Nan Yan needed the company of her parents more, and asked her to come and accompany him, an old man, fearing that she would be annoyed. In addition, his health was not good, and his condition was getting worse every year. He didn't know how many years he could live, and he didn't want her to have a gap with her parents. Now he knew that he was wrong. He should have taken Nan Yan with him as soon as she came back, and shouldn't have let her go to the Yin family. But now he regretted it, it was too late. Dad? What do you mean? Lulahua came to Mr. N to drive Nan Yan out of the Yin family. But Mr. N clearly wanted to take her with him and not let them raise her. Even Nweo, who had been in the Yin family for 18 years, didn't get this treatment. Lulahua's eyes turned red all of a sudden. It means exactly what it says. Grandpa N's eyes were cold and his attitude was firm. I will raise Yan Yan from now on. It has nothing to do with you. Dad. How can you do this? Yao Yao is also your granddaughter. She has always been filial to you. How can you favor one over the other? Lulahua couldn't keep calm and spoke a lot louder. Living in the old house means something different to the outside world. Grandpa N just looked at her indifferently and said, Yan Yan is my granddaughter. Lulahua's face turned pale. She wanted to say something but was stopped by Mulin. Mulin didn't expect that his grandfather would value Nan Yan so much. Even though her reputation was ruined now, he was still willing to take her to his side. If there is nothing else, you can go back and don't make me angry here. Grandpa N issued an expulsion order without hesitation. He didn't want to have any communication with Lulahua at all. Lulahua saw his displeasure and was afraid of making him angry, so he had to stomp his feet and go back with Mulin. Hashtag. After Lulahua left, Mr. N returned to his room and changed into a more formal outfit. He came out with a cane and said to the person serving him, Old Tien, come with me to Hyde High School. Thinking about what he had just heard, Old Tien subconsciously asked, is the old man going to see Miss Nan Yan? Yes, old Manon nodded and said in a deep voice, this girl, she refused to tell me what grievances she suffered outside. This time she was framed like this. If I don't care, won't others think that she has no one to protect her? Old Tian had a new assessment of Nan Yan's status in his heart. This girl who was not favored by the Yan family, in the heart of the old man, surpassed everything. Even the four young masters did not have such treatment. Hashtag. In the afternoon, Nan Yan took over Zhang Lingyu's class. She sat in front of Zhang Lingyu's teaching computer, waiting for the other four people. Yin Yuchen and the other four came to the computer classroom soon. Seeing Nan Yan, Yin Yuchen couldn't help but sneer, team leader Nan is quite calm. He is being criticized like a dog on the internet, but he is not affected at all. Although the other three did not say anything, their attitude towards Nan Yan has changed a lot because of what happened on the internet. They really admire Nan Yan's ability. But character is more important. Nan Yan leaned lazily on the backrest, and raised her beautiful eyebrows. I can delete all those things with just a flick of my finger, without leaving any trace. Do you know why I didn't do it? Obviously, they hadn't thought about this question. Now that Nan Yan brought it up, they felt that there was something inside. After all, with Nan Yan's ability, those things would be known to her as soon as they were posted on the internet. If she wanted to delete them and didn't want to expose them, it would really be a matter of moving her hands. This is the terrifying thing about computer experts. In the era of internet intelligence, computer experts can really manipulate public opinion and even turn the tide. But why didn't Nan Yan intervene, but let this matter continue to ferment, and it has become more and more explosive now? This is a very good question. Feng Tianji asked thoughtfully, Team Leader Nan, is the truth different from what was revealed on the internet? That has nothing to do with you. Nan Yan's expression did not change. You should go to class. By the way, Teacher Zhang has to leave for a few days because of something, so I will take over the class these days. You, Yin Yuchen sneered, high personal ability does not mean that you can teach. If classmate Yin thinks I'm not good enough, you don't have to listen. Nan Yan's eyes were full of disdain. Although I don't want to take this task, but since Teacher Zhang has spoken, I will naturally take over this class well. Having said this, Yin Yuchen will definitely not stay to listen to Nan Yan's lecture. He sneered, if you don't want to listen, then don't listen. After that, he turned and left. Do you three want to stay and listen? If not, then I'll go back. Zhou Shaijia smiled and said, since it's Teacher Zhang's intention, we will definitely listen. Zhao Xiang nodded, that's right, it just so happens that I haven't listened to Group Leader Nan's lecture, so I'll see it this time. Feng Tianji saw that both of them were going to stay, so it was okay for him to go back, so he would listen to see if Nan Yan was capable enough to be given such a big responsibility by Zhang Xianling. However, after the class, the expressions of the three people looking at Nan Yan changed completely. Team Leader Nan, how many days will Teacher Zhang be gone? Can you let him stay out for a few more days? Just tell me, Team Leader Nan, can you tell Teacher Zhang if you can continue to teach us in the future? What a god! Her mastery and understanding of computers are really amazing. Compared to Zhang Lingling, her lectures are not only more in-depth, but also easier to understand. They just listened to one class and felt enlightened. After hearing their words, Nan Yan raised her eyes and said with a smile, do you think I am idle? Three people. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 118. Obviously, they were rejected. Therefore, they can only hope that Teacher Zhang will come back later so that Nanyan can have a few more classes. As for Yin Yuchen, who left before Nan Yan's class, they all felt sorry for him and missed such a good opportunity. However, they were not going to go find him and tell him what he had missed. After all, Nan Yan obviously didn't like him. If Yin Yuchen came and pissed off Nan Yan again, who would they cry to if he didn't teach them well? Next, there is another lesson. When Nan Yan was about to give a lecture, the dean came to see her. "Classmate Nan Yan, your grandfather is here. He is in the office. Do you want to see him?" The dean also didn't know what the relationship between Nan Yan and Mr. N was. They were afraid that Mr. N would have objections to Nan Yan just like the parents of the N family, so they didn't dare to ask Mr. N to come to Nan Yan directly. He came over first to ask about Nan Yan's attitude. If she didn't want to see her, he would find a way to drag Mr. N away until school was over before sending her out. "Why is he here?" Nan Yan frowned and stood up directly. The dean misunderstood, and when he saw her standing up, he thought she was trying to hide from Mr. N, so he quickly said, "Classmate Nan Yan, don't worry, he doesn't know you are here and won't come looking for you." Nan Yan glanced at him and said leisurely, "The old man is here, of course I want to see him." Dean. This attitude was completely beyond his expectation. Before leaving the classroom, she thought of Feng Tianji and the three of them, and said, "You three will study by yourself first, and then get familiar with what I taught in the last class." 3 people, oh. Hashtag. Mr. N was a little anxious waiting in the office. He didn't even know how Yan Yan could endure the accusations and disgust of so many people by herself. It was his negligence as a grandfather that allowed her, a little girl, to be exposed online. Lao Tian looked at Mr. N from the side and looked unhappy, and quickly advised him, "Old man, please calm down first. Miss Nanyan will be fine. Mr. N has an old illness and has always been in poor health. He spends half of the year in the hospital and the remaining half of the time is required to rest. This is also the reason why he didn't interfere even though he knew that Nan Yan was not doing well in the Yin family. He didn't know when he would be unable to hold on and couldn't protect her for too long, and he was also worried that his extremely partial parents would treat her even worse because of his preference for Nan Yan. However, if he had known today, he would never have let Nan Yan stay with them. Even if she is not accepted by her parents in the future, she will still maintain a clean world for her." Mr. N couldn't suppress the self-blame in his heart. He smiled bitterly and asked again, "It's been so long, why haven't you come yet? It will take time to walk from here to Miss Nanyan's classroom and then bring her here, old man." Well. Just as he sighed, the door was pushed open from the outside. He quickly looked up and saw a slender figure walking in the door. "Yan Yan." Mr. N looked at the bright and flamboyant girl in front of him, who was as beautiful as a little fairy, and shouted uncertainly. Nan Yan naturally took Mr. N's hand, raised her eyebrows and asked, "Grandpa, didn't the doctor tell you to rest, and you disobeyed again?" Mr. N was stunned by her question. The girl in front of her was completely different from the past. Not only had she become more beautiful, but the gloomy and humble aura about her body had also disappeared. She has become more confident. Moreover, she was willing to get close to him, and would hold his hand and ask him why he was disobedient. "Yan Yan." Mr. N's eyes were a little hot. "It's because of Grandpa's fault that you have been wronged." His old big hand wrapped her hand in his palm, and his other hand patted the back of her hand. "Don't be afraid, Grandpa is here, and he won't let anyone bully Yan Yan anymore." Nan Yan felt sour in his heart for no reason. This is the emotion coming from her body, the original owner. "I'm fine." Nan Yan curled her lips and raised a slight smile. She squatted down in front of Mr. N, her eyes were level with him, and said softly and firmly, "In the future, I will not be bullied by anyone again. I will fight back hard against anyone who bullies me." "That's right," Mr. N nodded repeatedly, "this is what I, and Kangpan's granddaughter, should be like. Yan Yan, you will live in the old house with Grandpa from now on. I wonder who dares to bully you." Nan Yan, "Okay." She lowered her eyes and naturally placed her right hand on Mr. N's wrist to feel his pulse. After learning from the memory of the original owner that Mr. N was in poor health, she planned to nurse him back to health. It would indeed be more convenient to live with him. The dean who followed in later saw the scene and finally understood why Nan Yan walked so fast along the way. In Angia, there is finally someone who dotes on Nan Yan. The dean felt happy for Nan Yan. Mr. N looked at his well-behaved granddaughter, and the guilt in his heart became more and more intense. Yan Yan, don't worry about the internet. Grandpa will find someone to solve it for you. I won't let those people continue to bully you. Nan Yan confirmed that his situation was not life-threatening, and his tone became a little more relaxed. No, Grandpa, just take good care of yourself. I will handle this matter myself. Many people have said this to her. Nan Yan knew that they were all people who cared about her and had the ability to help her. However, she didn't want others to interfere. Yan Yan, why are you so distant with Grandpa? Grandpa N was a little disappointed. It's not distant, Nan Yan smiled gently, I just don't want these insignificant little things to make you worry. This is not a small matter. Don't you see that people on the internet are forcing you? Grandpa N was angry when he mentioned what he saw on the internet. Nan Yan frowned slightly and rubbed his heart gently, and her tone became more serious. This is a small matter for me. And your health, Grandpa, is a big deal. Don't be willful, you have to listen to the doctor's words. Don't get angry, Uncle Tien, help me keep an eye on Grandpa, don't let him look at those messy things on the internet again. Okay, Miss Nan Yan. Old Tien looked at the old man's frustrated look and smiled secretly. The old man has been strong all his life, and finally someone is here to control him. The dean interrupted and said, Mr. N, don't worry. Nanyan has a way to solve her problem. You don't have to worry. Your granddaughter is really amazing. It was originally a comforting remark, but it made Mr. N unhappy. How is my Yanyan amazing? If she was amazing, would she be bullied like this? Dean of Studies. She is still amazing even though she is like this? What kind of amazing is amazing? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 119. After much persuasion, Mr. N gave up helping her. Then he agreed to go to the old house for dinner in the evening, and then Nan Yan sent him away. When she came back, she saw the dean looking at her with a hesitant look. Dean, do you have something to say? No. I just want to ask, Nan Yan, have you ever exposed your true nature in front of your grandfather? Otherwise, how could Mr. N say such a thing? What's my true nature? Nan Yan raised her eyebrows coldly. I just treat others with the same attitude as they treat me. Love and hate are always two-way. She is naturally cold and will not easily have a good impression of outsiders. Only when the other party releases goodwill first, she will be willing to release her goodwill. If the other party hates her, then she will naturally hate the other party. Why should she like others if they hate her? What a beautiful dream. The dean understood. Nan Yan, your personality is really disadvantageous. That's good. Nan Yan curled her lips indifferently, not wanting to continue the topic, and waved her hand. If it's okay, I'll go back. Go ahead. Hashtag. After a day and a night of fermentation. Especially after Nan Hongyang and Li Shifen's video was topped on the hot search, and Nan Yan still didn't respond, netizens went even crazier. One by one, they became messengers of justice, wishing to pull Nan Yan out of the screen and beat her up. At this time, someone spoke for Nan Yan. Lin Ziyan usually doesn't like to go online, and she stays in the studio to paint when she has nothing to do. Today, she planned to relax and browse her phone, and then she saw these. At the moment, She was so angry that she logged into her social software and posted angrily. "You don't know how kind Nan Yan is. She will never do such a thing. Someone must have framed her. She is also a well-known blogger on the internet. Because she has no friends in real life, she chooses to share her paintings and some daily life on the internet. However, she never posts her photos or reveals her true identity. This sense of mystery, as well as her high level of painting skills, have earned her a group of very loyal fans. But now that netizens see Lin Ziyan defending Nan Yan, they have begun to divert their hatred and use all kinds of vicious words to attack Lin Ziyan. Even her fans, because of her 3 wrong views, have quit being fans and scolded her with netizens. Lin Ziyan has never experienced this before. Looking at the comments scolding her, her face turned pale and her heart almost hurt so much that she couldn't breathe. Just when she was sick, Nan Yan called. She was almost unable to move, and she almost tried her best to answer the phone. "Lin Ziyan, follow my words, take a deep breath slowly, exhale, exhale." Nan Yan's voice was calm and clear, as if it had magic, making Lin Ziyan subconsciously do what she said. After a few deep breaths, the severe pain in her heart was relieved a little. Her hands and feet, which were paralyzed by pain, also regained some consciousness. "Are you feeling better?" Nan Yan listened to the phone call. Lin Ziyan's breathing had calmed down. The fingers holding the phone also relaxed a little. "Wow!" Lin Ziyan burst into tears. She sobbed, "Yan Yan, I'm so sad." Nan Yan said softly, "There's nothing to be sad about. Don't worry about the things on the internet now. Take a pill and rest for a while." Lin Ziyan's eyes were red from crying. "I feel sorry for you. They don't know anything, but they scold you like that. You are so good, how can they scold you?" Nan Yan said leisurely, "Don't care about those people you don't even know. They can't affect me." "Little fool, you are angry with a group of online trolls. You are the one who is angry, and the one who is in pain is the one who loves you. They don't feel any pain or itch. So, ignore them." "Yan Yan, do you really not care? What do you care about? I should thank them for making this matter known to everyone." Nan Yan's low laugh was tinged with a bit of sharpness. Lin Ziyan didn't quite understand why Nan Yan was scolded like this on the internet, but she was not angry. Instead, she felt that she was doing it on purpose. When she saw those things, her fragile heart could not bear it at all, and she almost died of sadness. "Okay, go and rest, don't go online anymore, these things will be resolved tomorrow." Nan Yan paused, and then said, "Also, your Weibo password has been temporarily changed to prevent you from secretly going online to see those things." This time she happened to be online, and someone saw the message she sent and was scolded, and immediately called her and saved her life. Otherwise, she might really have a heart attack stimulated by the online trolls, and died in pain without anyone to take care of her. Thinking of this consequence, the anger in Nan Yan's eyes deepened a little. Originally, she planned to wait for 3 days. But now seeing this popularity, there is no need to waste so much time. The doorbell rang. Nan Yan put her mobile phone next to the notebook and went to open the door. As soon as the door opened, Qin Lu stood at the door with a cold face. "Yan Yan, why didn't you tell me about the online incident? It's just a small matter, not worth disturbing my brother." Nan Yan was speechless. Didn't she tell Wu Yu not to tell him about this? He actually pretended to obey her but secretly disobeyed her. Wu Yu said that he would not take the blame. Who knew that Master Qin, who had never paid attention to the internet, would suddenly become interested in surfing the internet today? Then, he saw the news that was highly searched. "You being scolded is a small matter. Nan Yan." She felt guilty and wrong for no reason. The big boss Qin on the opposite side seemed very angry. Nan Yan reached out and grabbed the corner of Qin Lu's clothes. She looked up, Her beautiful peach blossom eyes were clear and sparkling, and she explained obediently and softly, "Brother, I deliberately did not deal with this matter to stir up the heat. Don't be angry, okay?" Qin Lu's anger in his heart, seeing the girl's appearance, was like a balloon being pricked by a needle, and quietly dissipated. Deliberately. Yes, seeing that his emotions had calmed down a little, Nan Yan nodded her head quickly and said coldly, "If not, how can I get them out of my world completely? By the way, clean up another person." Nwao was looking for death this time. She didn't even go to find her, but she came up to him on her own initiative. "If I don't deal with her, I'll be sorry for her initiative." "Can you really solve it yourself?" Qin Lu was a little worried, afraid that she would show off. Of course a smile appeared on Nan Yan's bright face. "Tomorrow night, brother can watch the show with me." "Okay." Qin Lu stretched out his hand and rubbed her head. "If you have anything, you can always find me." "Nan Yan. Brother, can you stop rubbing? She's really going bald." Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 120. The power of public opinion is huge. Someone was deliberately fueling the situation behind his back, and this incident almost reached the point where everyone knew about it. And Nanyan's reputation has also fallen to the bottom. Countless people spontaneously attacked her, even frantically trying to dig out her residence and send her wreaths and blades. Unfortunately, Nwao didn't know where Nan Yan lived, so no one could disturb her. The next day, netizens who received no response almost went crazy and vowed to bring Nan Yan out. They spontaneously surrounded Hyde High School, where reporters were waiting, ready to force her to respond. However, Nan Yan did not come to school at all today. In the eyes of everyone, this was a sign that Nan Yan did not dare to come to school because of a guilty conscience. Netizens who felt that they had become messengers of justice gathered outside Hyde High School and strongly demanded that the school expel Nan Yan. However, they shouted outside for a long time, but no school leader came out to respond. The majority of netizens who were offended now simply scolded Hyde High School on the hot search list, accusing Hyde High School of harboring students with bad moral character. Hashtag. Inside Hyde High School. The principal and several other school leaders are in the office. The impact of Nan Yan's situation has been too great. Now the school's reputation has been smeared by her. I suggest that we expel her from school to calm everyone's anger. It's not worth ruining the school's reputation for one student. No matter how good she is, she will be rejected by major universities if she has bad moral character. It's too risky for us to shoulder this responsibility. My opinion is the same. Several school leaders gave unified opinions on the Nanyan matter. The principal looked at the dean. "Xiao Su, what do you think?" "I believe in Nan Yan, she is not a bad child." Dean Su's attitude was firm. "She is a student with great potential, and we need her in this computer competition. However, compared to the glory she may bring, the negative news she brings now has a greater impact on the school. School leaders are also responsible for the school. Hyde is a key high school, and it is a good school even in the country. Although he has never won the top prize in the college entrance examination, his best time was to get the top prize, which was enough to earn face for the school. They have to think more. If the whole school is affected because of one Nan Yan, the gain outweighs the loss. I understand your feelings, but Nanyan said that there will definitely be a result within 3 days. She did not come to school today to treat this matter. It only takes 1 day. I hope you can give Nanyan a little trust and give her another day." Director Su knew that the others were also concerned about the future of the school. In order to keep Nanyan, he could only try his best to persuade them. When the others heard the dean speaking for Nan Yan like this, their attitudes were not as insistent as before. "Principal, what do you think?" The principal thought for a while and said, Since Nan Yan said that the result will be given within 3 days and the problem will be solved tomorrow at the latest, let's give her another day and see how she solves the problem. Then just listen to the principal and see what happens tomorrow. Hashtag. However, Nanyan did not let them wait until tomorrow. That night, 2 posts in a row were ranked first and second on the hot search list. You know, when Nweo spent money on hot searches, she only bought the 8th one. The prices of the first and second hot searches were beyond what she, a middle-class family, could afford. Besides, those things don't deserve to be at the top of the search list. But Nweo couldn't afford it, but Nanyan directly invaded the backend, hung these 2 posts on it, and locked them. Even the staff couldn't take down these 2 posts. Those who had been watching Weibo, waiting for Nanyan's response, saw the 2 messages posted by Nanyan and rushed in to see what she had responded to. After they read the contents of the 2 posts, they all fell silent. Then came the anger of being used as a gunman. Because those 2 posts completely exposed that this time someone was deliberately targeting Nanyan, wanting to ruin her reputation. They also wanted everyone to expose her online and turn her into a street rat. The first post is an audio interview with someone from the village of Nanhongyang. Villager A: What? You said Nanhongyang was good to their daughter? Let me tell you, this is the first time in so many years that I have seen such parents who are not human beings. Just because it is a daughter, the child has suffered so much it's too much. Being beaten and scolded was commonplace since she was a child. She had to serve their family at a young age, cooking, washing clothes, and working. She was not even allowed to go to school. In the end, the village committee couldn't bear it and allowed her to go to school. Even if she can go to school, the girl is even more miserable. She has to get up to work before dawn every day. She is not allowed to go to school until she is done. When she comes back from school, she has to clean up the housework and cook immediately. Even so, Nanhongyang and Li Shifen, I would beat her from time to time and use her to vent my anger. Hey, she is so pitiful. Fortunately, I later found out that she was carried by the wrong person and was taken back by her biological family. Otherwise, she would have been tortured to death by this family sooner or later. Villager B: The Nanyan couple are more useless than the other. One of them just plays mahjong all day long, and even his youngest son is taken care of by that girl Nanyan. The other one was drunk every day, and when he was drunk, he would beat people. At that time, Li Shifen snatched her son away and pushed the poor girl out. When we heard the girl's screams, we were all worried, afraid that he would beat her to death. The poor girl's body was often covered with wounds. She didn't even have a thick coat in the winter, and her shoes were full of holes. Her hands and feet were red from the cold, and she had frostbite, pus, and blood. She had to do so much work, and she couldn't even eat if she didn't finish it. You ask me why I don't care? How can I care? It's not good for us to interfere in other people's family affairs, otherwise he will come to quarrel with us all day long, and we can't stand being annoyed by him like this. Villager C: Don't mention it. Nanhongyang and his wife are 2 scoundrels. They are not good people at home. But Nanyan is very kind and often helps us old people. We feel sorry for her, so we secretly keep her and let her have a full meal. Why secretly? Because if we do it openly, Nanhongyang and his wife will not only beat the girl, but also scold us for meddling in their business. Villager Ding. Villager N: If one person reveals that Nanhongyang and his wife are not good people, it can be said that it is because the 2 families are not getting along. But almost everyone is saying that they are bad people and abuse Nanyan, that is the fact.